Hey everyone, so I just saw Rampage and it's actually pretty fun. Rampage is a movie based on a video game. In the video game, you play as giant monsters and you get points by destroying cities, and it's like an old arcade game. And I'm gonna be honest, I didn't even know about the video game until I saw the trailer for this movie. In that game, when you are killed by the enemies, who are the military, you turn and shrink back down to a little human, and then you run off screen. And they completely forgo that in the movie. Like, they don't do the whole the were monster thing. It's weird. Like, it would have been way more interesting if they had done that, but they don't. The movie just instead goes, nah, that's too ridiculous for this movie. Let's just make normal animals, and we'll just, make them monsters. So in the movie, 3 animals are genetically enhanced and turn into these raging beasts that destroy, cities and shit through genetic editing, which is like really like vague. Like they don't go into the science of it at all. It's just sort of like, oh yeah, we, different animals put together and then they sniff it and then they turn into a giant monster.
Got your message about George, you okay?
I don't know. That's really the plot of the movie, these 3 animals turn into giant monsters and they destroy Chicago. The introduction to the movie is great. It kind of threw me off because like I didn't expect this kind of, I don't want to go into spoilers, but like the intro for this movie like had some really, really great like horror elements, and it's sort of goofy and funny, but at the same time you're like, oh, this is like genuinely tense. This is great. And after this introduction, they introduce The Rock's character, who, he's The Rock. He's just The Rock playing The Rock. It's sort of like a combination between like his character from Fast and the Furious and his character from that really awful fucking Kevin Hart movie he was in that I can't remember the name of. And in the beginning, after they introduced The Rock with the albino ape in the movie, George. And this stuff is actually surprisingly, genuinely heartwarming, and like I was sort of surprised and I was taken aback. I even got a little teary-eyed. I was like, oh, a piece of dust in my eye. I'm not fucking crying. Fuck you. It was like, oh, like this. There's heart here. There's heart in the beginning of the movie. So yeah, totally, it's all over the place. Like, if you haven't caught on yet, the beginning is almost straight up a horror film, and then it jumps to like genuinely heartwarming and kind of touching, like, your relationship between this ape and Dwayne The Rock Johnson, and you're just like you're just thrown for a loop this whole movie. It really does jump like that, and it's all over the place. The middle of the movie is genuinely awful, or not. I won't say genuinely awful, but just forgettable. Just like you're not going to remember that part of the movie. You're going to remember the beginning and you're going to remember the end, but the middle is just worthless. The dialogue's bad. It's just sort of just like, oh, what do we do to fill up time? We set up the movie, and now we got to make it last an hour and a half to 2 hours. I know what we'll do. We'll hire Jeffrey Dean Morgan. Jeffrey Dean Morgan is Negan as whoever the character's name is in this movie. He's just a CIA dude, and all he does is lean over. It's just, dude, you gotta learn to break character. Like, I get, like, that's what people are gonna know you as, for at least for a long time. Like, in my eyes, he'll always be, the comedian, or, whatever fucking else movie he was in. But everyone knows him as Negan right now, so I guess he's really harping on that. I think they might have just told him, it's like, hey, just do Negan. Everyone's just do Negan. Yeah, it's just Negan. Negan's in the movie. but he's not a bad guy. He's not bashing in people's skulls. A lot of this movie is like, you're gonna get a lot of laughs out of it. It's like, it's, you know, the middle of it has like really, you know, cheesy, bad dialogue. The movie itself is over the top and cheesy, and you're gonna get a lot of laughs out of it, but you're gonna be laughing at it and not necessarily with it, which is fine. And I mean, I'm totally fine with laughing at a movie and having fun that way. You know, there's scenes in this movie where I'm just like, that was absolutely ridiculous, and I'm gonna laugh at it, but I'm having fun. I think the movie understands that it's ridiculous, and I think it wants you to kind of laugh at it too. But it doesn't go like ultra meta and like sort of like become ultra aware of itself, where it tries to like, you know, take that trope or take this ridiculous thing and then spin it and try to be like, we did something with it. But it's like, no, it's like, okay, yeah, this is ridiculous. You know, The Rock gets shot like 8 times in this movie, and he's just like, I'm fine. It's like, yo, we thought you were dead. Nah, I got shot. It didn't hit the arteries. I'm good. Like, that's not how bullets work. That's not how gunshots work. But, you know, that's the movie you're getting into, right? You're getting into a movie where, you know, The Rock's going to get shot like 3 times in the back and come out and be like, I'm fine. What? No, I'm good. Let's go stop this giant ape from destroying a city. There's a scene that takes place on top of a skyscraper, which I don't want to describe it for you because I want you to experience it. You know, just actually watching like what happens. Like this, they're on top of a skyscraper, and the skyscraper is about to fall, and they survive this. And I'm not going to tell you how, but it's genuinely just like, okay, that's not how that works, but I'm okay with that. Like, I'm aware that this is stupid. I'm aware that this is over the top. I'm aware that this is ridiculous, and I'm laughing at it because it's stupid. I'm laughing at it because it's stupid and it's bad, but it's fun bad. It's great. It's ridiculous. This movie's ridiculous. The last half hour is really what everyone's coming to see. I mean, they put it in the trailers. You got like this wolf creature who flies, and you've got this giant ape, and you've got this giant lizard, and it's just, you know, they're destroying buildings, and that's what the game is from. You know, that's what everyone's there to see. And that's really the highlight of the movie. I mean, really, like, if you're gonna see this movie, you know, show up for the first half hour, right? Duck the middle 45 minutes, you know, go take a piss and get some popcorn, come back, you know, and watch the last half hour, and you're gonna have fun. You're gonna have a good time. This movie is it does, you know, push the PG-13 a little bit. You know, it's a little bloody and violent. You know, there's some dismembered bodies. You know, there's a good amount of blood splatter. I've seen reviews comparing it to Jurassic World, and in my opinion, it's not on the level of Jurassic World, right? Like, Jurassic World has these scenes where, you know, a body gets ripped in half and blood spills all over the camera, you know, like literally falls down onto the camera. You know, there's a scene towards the end where, like, you know, one of the bad guys gets bit and like blood splats across the wall. There's nothing really like that in Rampage. You know, there's a little bit of blood splat far away, and there's a little bit of blood dripping off of a gun from a dead body, and you see like really blurry in the foreground like dead bodies and stuff, but you know, there's really nothing like ultra gory, or like, you know, there's not an insane amount of blood like you'll see in the you know, opening scene of like Zoolander 2 or in the nosebleed scene in Drag Me to Hell. There's nothing like that. You know, but it is like, oh wow, there's some violence in here, and even touching on like the violence, but also like some of the humor in the movie. I wouldn't even call this like, yeah, it's a PG-13, but I think that cutoff is 13. Like, there was a lot of little kids in my screening seeing this, and in my opinion, you know, I'm not going to tell you how to raise your kids, but you might not want to take them to see Rampage, or at least not until they're like 12. You know what I mean? Like, there was a lot of little kids there, and some of the stuff I was like, you know, oh, parents are gonna have to explain that. They're gonna ask about that, or they're gonna start doing this, and then they're gonna wonder they're gonna do it without that meaning, and the parents are gonna go, stop it, that's bad, but like they're not gonna understand why. There's a lot of scary moments. There's actually a lot of good jump scares, like jump scares that like aren't like you know, where like you turn around and it's someone, you know, threatening and just like, oh hey, and you're like, oh, you know, it's not something like that where it's like there's literally a jump scare where it's like, oh shit, there's a giant monster right behind you, we didn't even fucking hear it. It's like, it's stupid like that too, where it's like, okay, how didn't I hear this 50-foot dog? But you know, you don't care because it worked. You know, you went, oh shit, I didn't expect that. You know, they don't overly like anticipate it. Like literally someone could be in the middle of a sentence and then it's like poof, and you're like, oh shit. It is based on a video game. It does, you know, and there's the whole thing of the video game curse, right? Like does this break that video game curse? And in my opinion, not really, but it's also a different genre for a video game movie, right? You know, lots of video games, and video games being the interactive medium they are, and movies being the passive media that they are. You know, a lot of video games get translated into action films, and they usually wind up being boring because they just take the character and the action and they just go, whoa, okay, how's that for a movie? And you're like, I mean, there's other stuff you could have did well. There was stuff the video game does well, like in terms of characterization. I mean, granted, you sit down for a video game, you're spending over 5, 8, 12, 24, 48, 72 hours with a character, and you're getting to know them, you're learning them, you know, and you become genuinely attached to these characters while playing a video game. In a movie, you're going to be watching this movie for 2 hours, and, you know, there's characters where, you know, you're like, oh, like, yeah, it looks like the character, and it sort of, it said the catchphrase, but it wasn't really the character. You know what I mean? Like the Lara Croft movie, the Tomb Raider movie that just came out, I didn't see it, but it looked bad, and I was just like, yeah, I don't really need to see it. And from what I've heard, it doesn't really break that video game curse where it's just like, it's passable action, and everything else is just sort of forgettable. And this is sort of that too. But it's different because now suddenly it's no longer just an action film. It's a kaiju film. It's a monster movie. It works well like that. It does that stuff good. And, you know, it doesn't break the video game movie convention. You know what I mean? Like everyone's still waiting for that moment where like a video game gets translated into a movie and it's great. It's a great movie. And this isn't that, but it is fun. And if you go into it with the right mindset, you'll have a lot of fun with it. If I give one word of advice before you go to see this movie, the original release date was 4/20. And that in my mind means that those producers who put this movie out knew who their audience was and knew what they were doing. They said, okay, who's going to see this movie? Oh, I know, stoners. Let's put it out on 4/20. That's a Friday. But because then Avengers moved their release date up a week, they would be competing right after to Avengers. So they moved it up a week, right? But the intent is still there. I still recommend prepare accordingly. If you catch my meaning, okay? I mean, that's what me and my friend did. We pulled up, we got in the car, we prepared, and we went in and we had a blast. I mean, just get drunk, get high. It's fucking great. You're gonna have a great time. I mean, honestly, that's really what makes the movie, is that like I'm giving a lot of praise, and like, I mean, again, like most like it's sort of even. Like the movie's bookended by these really amazing parts, like really great parts, and then the middle is just like, no one wants that. Like it sucks. You know what I mean? But because it's bookended by these parts, it's like the positives outweigh the negatives, but it's 50-50 at most. You know, I would even say maybe it's 60-40, where the 40% of the middle is just bad, and the 60%, the two 30% on the end are really what you want. And, you know, but again, you'll have a better time if you're either a little kid, a stupid teenager, or high as fuck, or drunk as hell. And, you know, I think just from, and sitting on it for, you know, a day or two and thinking about it, I'd give it like a 3 out of 5. You know, I think it's a passable kaiju movie. It's a kaiju movie starring The Rock. I mean, if you don't already know what you're getting yourself into, I don't really know what to tell you at this point. So that's my review for Rampage. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, I would appreciate it if you clicked the thumbs up. If you didn't like it, you can probably go fuck yourself. Please subscribe. I'm going to be doing these a lot more. This is the first one. There's going to be way more. I'm eventually going to talk about other movies, probably starring The Rock. So thanks for watching. See ya.